All right, what's going on? Hey, it's Alex Mason, Investment Banking Insights, doing another unscripted, impromptu episode for you. This will be the last episode I record in Ithaca. As you can see behind me, the studio is like completely down. I took everything down yesterday because I just graduated from my MBA. I just graduated, so shout out to all the graduates out there. Everyone who just finished their degree, it's an amazing accomplishment. You know, whatever degree you're doing, I'm just, really proud of you and hope you take the time to enjoy that moment. I certainly have been. So yeah, just graduated 3 days ago, about to head down to Chicago and get going at work. So an update in terms of series exams, I took the series 63 and thankfully I passed, so that is behind me now. And just some notes for you on the Series 63. It's a little bit different than the SIE. So the SIE is very broad ranging in its topics and the things that it covers. And you kind of have to know all of them, right? You kind of have to sample all of the subjects and really study them. The Series 63 is a little bit different in that there's several subjects. There's 6 different types of questions, but 75% of the test is focused on just 3 of those subjects. So specifically in the Series 63, you most want to focus on registration. So registration of broker-dealers and agents, registration of investment advisors and investment advisor representatives. That's one section. Another section is on communications. So there's actually a little bit of overlap with some of the SIU material here, so it shouldn't be too bad. But things like, how do you advertise? What is lawful? What's unlawful? What is considered an advertisement? That kind of thing. And then the biggest section that's probably the most important out of all of them is the ethics section. So apparently back in the day with the Series 63, the ethics section used to be kind of like easier type of questions. But some of these questions are actually very nuanced in how they define what is ethical. You'll learn the differences between something that's unethical versus unlawful versus fraudulent. And the definitions aren't too hard. It's just placing it in the context of the question that takes a little bit of practice, or at least it did for me. But yeah, so that specific topic area was, I think, one of the most tested in terms of what you end up practicing on and things like that. So yeah, so registration, communications, and ethics. There are a couple of other sections just related to things like state-specific laws and whatnot. That's going to be a minority of the test. That's going to be 25% of the questions. Not to mention, just like the SIE, you're going to have some experimental questions that are going to be thrown in there. And I remember getting an experimental question. I won't say on what topic, but it was a topic totally off the wall of anything that I had studied. And I was like, whoa, what is this? This has got to be an experimental question. So I didn't even really worry about it, just moved on to the next one. Another thing about the Series 63, out of all of the series exams that are out there from FINRA and from NASA, this one has the least amount of time per question. So it's a 65 question exam and you have 75 minutes to do it. So just barely over 1 minute per question, which is less time per question than the SIE. So I noticed during my practice sessions for the Series 63 on 2 practice tests, I was actually slightly over time, which kind of worried me a little bit. But then I was able to get more practice and I started bringing my time down. I started getting faster, more efficient at answering questions correctly. So just be aware of that as you begin to study for the 63. It does require more speed, but especially if you focus on those 3 big topic areas and you really master those, you don't have anything to worry about because you'll get better at it over time. Okay, so yeah, that's just a little bit about the Series 63. I hope you're doing great. And the next time that you see me, I will be set up in a studio in Chicago. So wish me luck on the move and everything. But for now, I'm gonna get back to packing my stuff. So hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye.